Hey again, first grade readers. It's Mrs. Gummo here, and I'm really excited to go on some more reading adventures together. In fact, I was thinking about you just the other day when my son Bailey and I were listening to a read aloud on Storyline Online, and it was a book about a pirate ship and a pirate looking for treasure in the ocean. And as we were sitting there under a blanket, snuggling, listening, and looking at the book as someone else read it, I was feeling like I was actually on that pirate ship with an eye patch over my eye, looking for a hidden treasure. It was just so magical. And I was thinking about the reader reading it and thinking, whoa, this person is really an expert reader because they just completely brought the story to life. And it was almost like some magical reading dust or magical dust was sprinkled over Bailey and I as we were listening. When we were all done, I just couldn't believe that the story was brought to life so much that I felt like I was in it. But it made me think that any reader can do the same thing. It's not magic that brings the stories to life. It's the reader paying attention to clues the author leaves the reader to know how the story wants to be read. So I was thinking, yes, great, I got it. I can pick up all clues to help me know how to read the words the way the author would want them to sound. But then I was thinking, well, how can I show first graders how to do this when I don't know how to do it all the way? So I was hoping you could help me do some investigating today, readers. Could you help me do that? Great. Because I have a question that we can think about as we start to read one of the stories in this book I have picked today, George and Martha. I'm going to ask this question and let's do some investigating around it. What clues do authors leave that readers can use to bring characters to life? And now, readers, I've gotten a lot of videos and reread videos about you doing this kind of work. So now we're going to do even more work investigating this question as we read the first chapter in George and Martha one more time. As I read, I want you to think about what are some of the clues the author, James Marshall, is giving us to help us know how to read it and bring these characters, George and Martha, to life. Remember, before we go on any adventure, we take our sneak peek. And so looking at the cover, as we know, a lot of authors put the most important thing on the cover, the characters, George and Martha. What kind of animals do George and Martha look like? Yeah, they are hippopotamuses. Big, adorable, in my opinion, hippopotamuses. And now on the back, as you know, we can read about the story here. It just says 2 great stories about 2 best friends. So I was thinking it was chapters, but it's really story number 1 and story number 2. So we know that it's about George. The characters are George and Martha, and they're hippopotamuses, and they are best friends. It looks like Martha likes flowers, and there's George with a cane. And here's the first story called The Scary Movie. Ooh, that almost looks like George with a sheet over him, or maybe it's Martha. I'm not sure. So now, readers, remember, as we look at the words and as we look at the pictures, we're thinking about this question. What clues do authors leave that readers can use to bring characters to life? Here we go. Martha was nervous. I've never been to a scary movie before. Silly goose, said George. Everyone likes scary movies. I hope I don't faint, said Martha. What do you notice about some of the words here on the page, readers? I think I heard some of you say there's quotation marks or the talking marks that helps us know that someone's talking as we read? Ooh, yes, you're right. The author does use the words nervous, so we know Martha's feeling nervous. Did you notice anything else? Ooh, you're right. That word everyone is written in italics. You're right. We can also use the picture and see that Martha's face right there. She looks really nervous. And there's George looking quite confident. Good investigating, readers. Let's read on. Martha liked the scary movie. This is fun, she giggled. Ooh, I should probably change my voice to match the giggled part. This is fun, she giggled. Martha noticed that George was hiding under his seat. I'm looking for my glasses, said George. You don't wear glasses, said Martha. What do you think, readers? Is George really looking for his glasses? No, I don't think so either. We notice that the author made an italic word here, liked. Why do you think he did that? Because her feelings changed, right? She was worried and nervous going into the movie, and now she actually realizes she likes it. And how do you think George is feeling? I agree. I think George is the one who's scared. When the movie was over, George was as white as a sheet. Hold my hand, George said to Martha. I don't want you to be afraid walking home. Thank you, said Martha. What do you think now, that looking close at that picture? Yeah, George definitely is the one who's scared now. And Martha's happy. And even though George is saying to Martha, hold my hand, I don't want you to be afraid walking home, I think you're right. I think George really is the one who's afraid here. That was a quick story, but we could do a lot of work in just those few pages, readers. In fact, you did a great job. I'm sure a lot of you did say that special print, the italic word that you noticed, is helpful. That's a clue that the author is leaving you to bring the characters to life. We also did a lot of investigating in those pictures. And like you said, you knew when the characters were getting ready to talk because of the quotation marks, or sometimes we call them talking marks as well. Some other clues that authors leave to help readers know how to read is the punctuation. Your voice will change when you see a question mark or an exclamation point, and your voice might just be clear when you see a period and someone's making a statement. Always think about the punctuation in the middle. When there's a comma, you might take a little breath or pause for a moment. And we know those ellipses are leading up usually to something on the next page, like a surprise. There can be special print like bold print, italic print, or capital letters, which we see in some of our books. We know there's characters talking when we see the quotation marks, and we can even use words like shouted or whispered to change our voices too. And as we know, readers are always using the pictures as clues. But specifically here, it can help you know how to read your book. This is a really great list, readers. Thank you so much for helping me do that really great investigating work. Today, as you go off and read, I want you to think about all these clues as you read your books. And one tip I'll give you is that you can use sticky notes like we do in a lot of our reading to mark those pages where characters had those strong feelings like we did last week. So I made up some sticky notes with different feelings. I'm going to write scared here because I know Martha was scared at this part. And then I'm going to write happy. I'm going to stick my sticky note where it says happy here with Martha, because she liked the movie there and her feelings had changed from being scared to happy. And then this is just for my own remembrance. I wrote surprise because for me, I'm going to put it here. I was surprised that George really was the one who was scared, but I could just read with my reading voice on this page. Happy reading today, readers. Bye.